Good evening, everybody. I'm Beardless Bruce Garfield, the director of your Columbus Music Commission, and welcome to our first virtual Music Business Monday. Tonight, we're conducting the ultimate music blindfold test, where 20 recordings from Columbus music makers will be played and critiqued by our guests, Zach Lund, raise your hand, Zach, of Universal Music Publishing, and Chris Martignano of Atlantic Records. These 20 songs were selected from over 130 submissions we received, and we called the 70 from those that we received first. And from those 70, they were given to a panel that was comprised of record producers, musicians, supporters of our local music scene, and myself. I have to say, this was not an easy task. It was overwhelming. There was so much good music submitted. And, before we begin, I need to acknowledge our sponsors and supporters who make these Music Business Mondays and our activities possible. They are the City of Columbus, the Greater Columbus Arts Council, the AP Foundation, Experience Columbus, Tom Kraus and the gang over at Donato's, Alec Whiteman and Zeppelin Productions, the firm of Baker Hostetler, Robert Shenton and Plant Moran, Jamie Reed and JP Morgan Chase, Rusty Rainey at Live Technologies, Skip Weiler and the Robert Weiler Group, and the many others that support us. So now, let's let the music play. Would you guys start off by introducing yourselves and giving us a little background on your own career and what you do now? Chris, why don't you start?
Yeah, so the short, can you hear me, by the way? All right, cool. So I started singing in bands. When that didn't pan out for me, after a few years, I was looking to learn about the music business, was going to go to Belmont, ended up going to Full Sail. That's where I met Steve Robertson, who was SVP of A&R at the time at Atlantic, signed Paramore, Shinedown. So I started assisting him, working on those bands with him, and assisting him on other areas like A&R research. That's where I started becoming a part of that department. And because it just didn't exist 9 years ago at Atlantic when I started, in the form that it does today, where we have a staff of 8 focused solely on A&R research and the discovery of artists and the analyzing of data outside of our own artists in the analytics department. So that turned into wanting to be a part of a wider music scene, and instead of staying in Orlando 5 years ago, moved to Nashville, and have been here ever since. So started as an intern, scout, assistant, and then now I'm the director of A&R and research at Atlantic Records.
Okay, Chris, you're up.
Me again?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Zach.
Zach. So I've seen, it looked like Zach's mouth was moving. Okay. Zach, your time.
Yeah, so my name is Zach Lund. Similarly, I used to, play music like so many of us in the business. I was living in New Orleans, playing around the city as both a musician in other bands and doing my own artist thing for a bit. And then I spent a year in London, my junior year of college, and I ended up also kind of doing the internship / scout thing at UMPG. I got to be an A&R scout there for a year and really learned the ropes of the business. It was an incredible experience, made a lot of great relationships. Moved back to the States, then moved up to Nashville from New Orleans, and just started kind of getting to know the scene that Chris also knows very well. Both of us live in Nashville, but tend to work mostly in the scenes here outside of the country sphere. I took a little bit of a detour from where I'm doing now. Then I ended up going into the legal side of things. I went to law school at Belmont and worked part-time at a music law firm for 3.5 years. graduated that, decided I wanted a more creative day-to-day. I saw the changing landscapes in Nashville and how more and more people were here doing what Chris was already doing. And I sort of struck up a conversation back up with Universal, and we ended up sort of creating this position that I'm in now, where I kind of cover the rock and pop stuff here, but also do stuff all over the country. So it's weird because I'm on like the LA, New York A&R team for UMPG, but I'm based in Nashville. So yeah, it's my story.
Cool. All right, so let's start the music now. Audience, we're not revealing who the artists are or the songs first. We gave each entrant the opportunity to either acknowledge who they are or not. And of course, everybody gave permission to be acknowledged. So, Thane, kick it off.
What you gave is what you get. Power and money killed ya. My father used to say, I've always paid my bills, yeah. And now it's time for bill to pay. Don't put your heart into it. That reaper beat me to it now. Yeah. I think you're out of time. Don't need your love anyway. I think I'll be just fine. I've made it 28 years, and now I'm getting what is mine. Don't put your heart into it. That reaper beat me to it now. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to be playing excerpts. That ran a little long, but take it, guys. That, by the way, is the Warren Flints. They spent last year and the year before supporting Catfish and the Bottlemen.
Oh, nice.
That makes a lot of sense. The Zach, you want to go first, or what?
You go ahead, Chris. You can go.
Yeah, so for me, it's always like, and I'm such a big rock fan in general, and I feel like rock in today's very like urban leaning, produced in the box feel, sort of the identity of it has changed quite a bit. So a band like this, I really like it for the sake that it calls back other bands that I like Green Day and Wolf Mother and stuff in that sort of lane. But the only thing that I would say is like I would love to see something interesting in the production sort of like pique my interest a bit more, other than calling back the nostalgic feel that I love. And maybe that's just what it is, but in just with the way that things are currently, that's the one critique that I would give, is just finding a way to kind of update and reinvent the wheel a bit. But if you're not looking to do that and you're just trying to make something really great in a lane that already exists, like I think it's really good. The production wise, for being like a straight up rock song, I feel like it would fit right at home at like an active rock station for sure.
Yeah, it's a cool song. I thought that I mean, the writing was really cool. I liked the different pieces of the song. I think from my end, you know, on the publishing side, especially with rock stuff, I think a lot about like what our sync department would like. And I think there are a lot of elements of the song that they'd be into. There were some cool instrumental breakdowns. I thought the chorus was super lively, to the point where it would take it out of the sort of like just vibey indie, like film and TV placements, and you could actually probably go for like some bigger like sports stuff. So there's definitely a revenue stream there on the publishing end. So, you know, I think with a band like that, it's about touring, building up an organic fan base. And then, you know, from my side, it's like if I signed something like that, it would mostly be about just making sure that the songs are getting love from the sync team. And then maybe, you know, strategically helping pair them with the producer when it's time to make an album. And maybe that's what goes back to what Chris said about how can we like maybe like maintain the validity of this band and its sound, but try to like, you know, create something that also is going to be able to like enter some of the other spheres of the modern industry.
Yeah, that sync, the point you made about sync is great, because that was something I didn't bring up, but is a really good point that it would work really well in that space too.
Okay, let's move
Good.
on.
Humans in the kitchen making tea with milk. Humans in my living room making jokes or not. I'm in love. Humans in the bathroom snorting cocaine. Everything is clear when you're not insane. What I give. Normal hair, normal step, normal this, normal that. Don't look here, there's nothing there, just a normal. So a piece of my soul that slip me that approval. I like what they like. Do they like me? You're the cup of coffee I hold in my hand. Whisper to my body, you'll be warm again, my dear friend. You smell like
Okay, that was Normal by Exoma. Gentlemen?
Dope. Zach, do you want to go first this time?
Sure. Yeah, I thought there were definitely some cool ideas in there. I think I'm curious if she self-produced that or worked with somebody else steering it. I think you could, you know, I think if that, to me, I like the sound. I feel like it could maybe just kind of just develop out a little bit more. But if you did, I could see obviously how the space in this sort of like bedroom pop arena right now. It's a great way to kind of like put stuff out and maybe hit one of those playlists. Yeah, I like the sort of, I like the vibe of it, but I think like on the songwriting end, I'd like to see a little bit more, I guess, development.
Yeah, for for me, like I'm a huge fan of artists like Sylvan Esso and Regina Spektor, and I get a sort of like elevated singer-songwriter vibe that's coming at it from a production perspective. I would bet that either they did produce or they had somebody who has a heavy hand in their project with production, because I think it was at times a little too focused on what the production was doing. And it was super interesting at first, but got very boring really quickly. But then it got my interest again. And it's like, to me, I think that says like there's some editing to do, specifically in the intro. I think the chorus isn't mixed correctly, but otherwise the elements in the song are super cool. And it's the opposite problem of what the other song had, which is that I think the production is really interesting. I think it just kept my attention most of the time. There were just moments where that thing that caught my attention dragged on too long. But other than that, I really enjoyed it.
Good commentary. Thane, let's roll with the next one. That's a young band from Columbus called Pray for Sleep.
Pray for Sleep. Cool. Well, first of all, I really liked it. It brought me back to my sort of like pop punky days with the screaming in there, but it was a little bit more mainstream, like a 3 Days Grace to me. My thing with it, I'll specifically talk about the production, and that I feel like it comes out screaming right away. So when it gets to that big chorus, it just doesn't feel as big as it should, because it's just up here the whole time and there isn't any dynamics to it. So it's like, and my problem with it isn't necessarily that it's just that level the whole time. It's just that by the time you're done with that first chorus, I don't really have any, there's not really a new moment, other than there was some cool like whispery things happening in the mix, like coming out of that chorus, that I thought captured my attention a little bit. But it's probably a mixed thing. Otherwise, the energy in it's really cool, and I think it's definitely something that would work well in the sync space.
I agree with Chris on all of those fronts. I think it would work in the sync space, and I also agree that it kind of brought me back to some old bands that I loved, but also it has that more kind of commercial lane to it. I do think that production wise, it's a little bit, it harkens back to another time, and the song in general does, and the sound is, and that's great. But I do think you're relying on, you just gotta if you're gonna go with that, you just gotta power through and be that band, and either hope that things kind of swing back a little bit that direction, or just kind of like make your name in that, whatever that market is currently, but yeah, I mean, it's good.
There's a scene for
I bet it's
everything.
fun live. Yeah, there's a scene for everything. Exactly.
You know, I'd like to know, guys, also, because obviously these are one tracks by bands. If there's some music you hear and you feel inclined to, say, I'd like to hear more, or I'd like
Yeah.
to hear from this band, that would be very much interest to myself and the groups.
Yeah, I'm taking notes too about those bands.
Good. Okay, Thane, let's roll.
That was really cool. Zach, you want to start?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, reminded me a little bit of a band I've worked with called Nightly.
Yeah,
Somewhat
I was
voice
thinking
and-
that.
Yeah, but no, I mean, cool melodic intuitions, some cool lyrics, good voice. I think if there is one area I feel like could like get even better would be on the production side. I think maybe there's just a way to kind of make it pop a little more on the production. But yeah, I mean, it's cool, and there's definitely a big space, I think, for bands that sound like that. I dig it.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, like that, to me, that is like the alternative space right now, right? It's like the bands sound more like that. So in that way, it is current. And I really liked how big the chorus felt with the way that it was mixed. It gave me like M83 vibes as well, or maybe a little bit of a more 80s feeling Band Camino type thing. So in that way, I think it competes, but at the same time, it's like I wish I could hear the like timbre of the vocals a little bit more, but I'm a little torn on even that comment because I thought it sounded really cool and enjoyable. Who was that we were listening to?
That was a song called Wasted Wine by a group called Lavi. In fact, our director of our film commission just sent in a note saying, who was that band? We're actually running a contest, it'll be announced soon, where John Doherty, who runs our film commission, it's like a sister organization, ran a short film contest. And now that those films have been selected, we are going to put them out to our entire music community to score for cash, see which winning scores will be synced to it. So
cool.
He's writing, wants to know who that is. He loves it, he said.
Very cool.
It's amazing.
Okay, Thane, let's roll.
subscribe to the lies that you've been told. It's funny 'cause it feels like you're falling, but it's crazy 'cause you learn how to fly. Perpetual conduits of positivity, an open invitation to try a new philosophy. We'll make it a lot longer and further. We try to be perpetual conduits of positivity. Perpetual conduits of positivity. Perpetual conduits of positivity. An open invitation to try a new philosophy.
That was Mojo Flow, and lead singer is Amber Nicole, and the song is Perpetual Conduit of Positivity.
Yeah, for me, I really liked, so is it a band? I guess it's important for me to know, is it like a band and then the singer is featured on it, or is the singer part of that band?
It's a band. She leads the band, but it's an actual band. The horns.
Got it. So, I put this sort of in the same lane as like Lake Street Dive, even like St. Paul and the Broken Bones, where it sort of has that like big bandy feel in a rootsy way, like not in the necessarily like pop way that a Bruno Mars would be, but then paired with like a Christina Aguilera powerhouse type vocal. There's a lot going on, and I feel like the song would go to a whole nother level if the arrangement was done in a way where it sort of picked moments for things to shine, rather than like all of this awesome stuff happening all at once. Really clearly very musical, clearly like, probably a wider vocabulary than I have, with Perpetual Conduits of Positivity being the title. And I just feel like it's a little wordy, but otherwise like the vocal performance is really good and the band is really good and even the mix is good, but just there's so much happening. I don't know what to listen to as like a fan of just music in general. I'm sitting here just trying to take it all in. And with 70,000 songs coming out every day, it's like, I don't know if I would go back and listen to it again, because it's just like, my brain is like ready for something else at that point.
Yeah, I think the good news is there's definitely talent there, and I think you have a lot of influences, and I feel like there's something to hone down into, and there's an absolutely, there are so many cool established and up and coming, whatever you want to call them, soul, retro, in that they take some things from the past but have a modern take on it. And I will say another good thing is that there aren't any artists currently in that lane that are, I think, taking some of what you were doing. You have like Leon Bridges, who took from Sam Cooke, but I don't think there's anyone out there who's like quite in that vein. So that's cool. I agree with Chris that maybe like really trying to kind of like simplify things down to like purify it down a little bit to like how are we going to like get this message across, like both sonically and lyrically, in a way that's going to like kind of pierce through the noise.
All right, Thane, let it roll.
Pitch black, close the door, said we weren't gonna do this shit anymore. Promise the last time would be the last, but your touch is so addictive and your eye brings me back. Don't need labels, it's no longer love. No strings attached, I'm just trying to. That's the lie I tell to myself, and I always believe it till you're kicking me out. I can't think clearly when I think of you, no, and I still feel lonely by your touch. I know this is all you can give to me, so I guess I keep pretending that's enough.
It's down to business, come closer, come near. You take my hand, lead me up the stairs. Lay me down, wrap you around my waist. But I don't stay long, no, it's just a little taste. You know just what to give me to keep me wanting more. You know just how to touch me, got me pinned down on your floor. You know just what to say to keep me at your door. And you know that I hold on to what you don't anymore. I can't think clearly when I think of you, no. And I still feel lonely by your touch. I know this is all you can give to me, so I guess I keep pretending that's enough. I can't think clearly when I think of you, no.
I mean, I was just gonna say, I really cool voice. I love I like a lot of the production choices. I like the keys, and I like your delivery, like with the keys and the kind of sparse production, or at least that's how it came out through these headphones. But it sounded cool to me. I like this cool vibe.
I feel like it would be right at home on a playlist, and it wouldn't be something that like gets skipped over, given the production and the melody choices, and the voice was super pleasant to listen to. So it definitely wasn't like a difficult one to get through. But at the same time, I just wonder if there was a way to switch up the melodies a little bit more to make it interesting. That's my only critique of it. But otherwise, like, I thought the production was really cool. It's something
Right,
that
that was Rain,
Rain?
R-A-Y-N-E, and the song's titled Enough. Okay,
I
Thane, let's
really
move.
like it.
Am I high on the air I'm breathing? Stole it from your lungs. All the nights I'm with you, I pointed. But with obsession, you're burning fast on me like a fever. Are you searching for something sweeter? Champagne and a box of matches. You know it drives you wild. And I know I can keep you off my mind. It's just something about your love. I'm not wasting all my time. It's just something about your love. About your love. It's just something about your love. About your love. It's just something about your love. It's the way that you cut me open. Watch it up pour out. So you swear on me like the ocean. As if we never stop. I can't complain when you pull me under. Call it out of jealous love. Stay and enjoy the violence. You know it drives you wild. And I know I can keep you off my mind. It's just something about your love. I'm not wasting all my time. It's just something about your love. About your love.
That was Wild by Captain Kidd.
That was cool. I got like Loud Luxury Body vibes, where it felt like a dance record, but with that more like R&B delivery of a vocal. Super, again, something that I feel like would work really well on chill vibes playlist, and like stuff like it's, I I feel like that's always the challenge right now, especially in an age where it's like people are like skip rates, like, and it hurts your playlisting, but then being too familiar hurts your chance of standing out. Like Lizzo's Truth Hurts was like the most skipped song of like the past 2 years and became one of the biggest smashes, 2 years after the fact. So sometimes being polarizing is good. Sometimes doing this and serving up something that is really enjoyable to listen to is also good.
Yeah, I think that my first thought was that, I could see it being on a Chill Vibes playlist or any playlist like that. And, maybe that's kind of the route, is you just start putting the music up and see what kind of momentum it catches.
The SoundCloud community too would really dig that.
Yeah. And then this isn't the only question that we're answering, but I think, I always think, well, do I love this or not? But after that, kind of the business considerations come in. And on my end, like signing something in that lane is always tough for me, because it's like, it's hard for me, to see it jumping outside of that kind of playlist world. And it's also a little passive for the sync sides. I feel like it'd be tough in terms of like film and TV and commercials. And unfortunately, I'm kind of like, have to like think about those in specific spaces, because I think radio might be kind of tough too. But granted, look, there's amazing bedroom pop music being made every day that also doesn't fit into those worlds, and that, it can stream like crazy. So there's certainly like plenty of opportunity for a song like that.
Okay, great. Thank you, guys. Let's move on.
Volume up, roof down. Pretty faces all around. Do you hear that sound? All we ever lost is found. Got a minute, got a moment, got a radio song. Gonna do what we can do before this night is gone. Say you're with me, say you want it, say you need it bad. Yeah, we're going all in, getting what we had. Back in time to the greener side, when we made a mess, never thinking twice. Yeah, we've come so far, gonna do this right. Let our hearts beat loud and get back to life. When we reminisce, we're finally doing things we never did. Yeah, we'll get our fix. Craving that old rush we always miss. Got a minute, got a moment, got a radio song. Gonna do what we can do before this night is gone. Say you're with me, say you want it, say you need it bad. Yeah, we're going all in, getting what we had. Back in time to the greener side, when we made a mess, never thinking twice. Yeah, we've come so far, gonna do this right. Let our hearts beat loud and get back to life.
I feel like this artist must have had like a briefing from a major publishing company right now, looking for like comeback songs after this pandemic, because that's like perfect. I feel like a song like that, you would have a great chance of getting in a commercial or something.
That's
Yeah.
Clad Bricks, Greener Side.
Yeah, it gives me, it definitely gives me like Walk the Moon vibes, which I know is an Ohio band. And I agree with Zach that it feels like it was like perfectly written for a sync placement.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious if that was actually the purpose of that. Yeah.
I don't think it was written with any purpose. This is a really good writer, and again, a local artist.
crossed the oceans, I've seen the mountains, I've taken my time. I watch the sunrise and stay till nighttime, nothing close to your shine. I've made up my mind, I've made up my mind. Ain't nothing sweeter, ain't nothing sweeter than you. And I hear the Peter and the Pater falling into tune. Ain't nothing sweeter, ain't nothing sweeter than you. I've taken my jumps, I've had my fate, and I flew. I have ran for miles, seen a million miles, and the soles of these shoes. All right now.
That was Cousin Simple, Nothing Sweeter Than You.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Zach.
I was just gonna say I like the feel good vibe, but I feel like it was a little bit like this to me. Like I could have used a little dynamics, whether that's more like in separating out, you know, the parts of the song arrangement wise, more just production. Not totally sure, but I like the voice and the feel of the song, and I'm not always thinking about this, but I don't know why I keep saying it, but it's also like a good message for a lot of like, you know, advertising briefs and, you know, the sync team kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I immediately thought of like a, you know, like Polaroid commercial or something like that. Like, I feel like every time there's that like ukulele sounding guitar or something that's a little bit higher than, sorry. But I agreed with you, like anything that could have helped build the song, I think would have helped make it more interesting. But I also love that the band you said it was Cousin Simple?
Yes.
I love that they kind of stuck with their name. It's on brand, being, you know, pretty simple delivery of a nice, sweet song. It was super enjoyable. It's one of those ones that I feel like would fit on a playlist that's like wake up early type, going to like, I guess, commute when everybody gets to commute again type vibes in the morning. Good way to start the day. But other than that, I would have
and there have been
to
some
see
huge songs like that too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Slid it in. I'm a fucker in her twin. Big bills. You know drop wax in the hills. This lifestyle kills. You tryna beat me, I know it kills. I'm for the thrill. I give her the dick, she call me blue pill. Wait, I'm selling weight, selling oats. You already know. Cupid, you ain't know me. Yeah, you know my homie. Shorty, you look on me. Yeah, I hand her over to a K. Here, hit you with the K. Making sure that you just like T-pose. We roll, we gon' free throw. You know, I blow. When I let mommy air though. Thick hoe, she gon' hit though. We got 1K, it's gon' ring though. Yo dick, it shrink though. I put a dick out, it flick though. What I look like tryna bread these waiful? I don't know. I much rather ride you with my dad for no give a fuck. I'm just tryna fuck your bitch, not shaving throats. I guess I start going up, I feel like cocaine though. Can't fuck with cocaine thoughts. Going up like cocaine stock. I'm just hitting the keys. I'm not talking about real keys. I'm talking about keeping low key. These real niggas can't fuck with me. I'm hitting your bitch in her box. These niggas be lying about pots. On the south side, you know I'm going to ride. You know I'm going to ride. Hit you then and hit your wife. Wait, south side. Yeah, you know I'm going to ride. I'm going to ride. I'm going to hit you then your wife. Wait, oh, wait.
That was Slided In by Jelani.
Love the
Dude,
voice. Very
his
cool
his voice is super. Their voice is super interesting, and the production was really cool. I feel like at times it kind of took away from the voice, but um, and lyrically, I don't think I got much from the artist as far as like just their perspective, other than stuff that I feel like it sort of felt like repeated lyrics to me. But the voice was super cool, and the production like right away is like competitive and in your face. But I think if you can find a way to like add your perspective as an artist and have the beat work for you rather than work against the beat, I think that that song would be on a whole nother level.
Yeah, I think you know, I mean, with a compelling, unique voice like that, you've got a hell of a start and a lot to work with.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool. And yeah, I agree with Chris. I like the production. At some points, it felt a little busy. It's like, am I listening more to like what the producer is saying or what the rapper is saying? But I mean, it was cool. Yeah, the voice caught me immediately.
Cool. It's great because all of these artists are mostly watching, so you're actually talking to them. All
Great.
right, let's move on, Thane. Roll ahead.
I'm searching for something I can hold on to, something I can believe in, something that won't go away. I'm a loser, I'm a wild one, baby, I'm a dancer, I'm a little crazy, I'm a moon child, whispering your name. What a wonderful feeling, what a wonderful feeling. What a wonderful way to let go. What a wonderful feeling, what a wonderful feeling. What a wonderful way to let go. All the lonely people, they haunt me, stand beside me like flowers, weeping in the shade. Does it move you? Does it touch you like it used to? Like vinegar and honey on a summer day. What a wonderful feeling, what a wonderful feeling. What a wonderful way.
That was Miss Angela Perley, and the song's title is Let Go.
That was cool. I'm a big fan of Wolf Alice and just that vibe. And, I feel like we were talking about alternative and the like popular side of what that is. And we heard that earlier in that band Lav. I don't know. But anyways, this is the more like rocky side of where alternative is at, I think. And I really enjoyed it. I think there were times, especially in the verses, where the singer's voice really stood out, and then I think there was some really cool riffs going on with the guitars that again feed into like hearing a lot of really good like sync opportunities there. But the energy was really cool, and overall it's just like finding a way for a voice that sounds that cool in the verse to also sound that cool in the chorus. And I just don't think it was like it landed 100% there, but overall like really cool song.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool voice. I love kind of her delivery. It has like a kind of swagger to it, but like an aloof swagger, which is really cool. And yeah, I thought even some of the lyrics were cool. And I think it's a sound and a style that you can just keep digging in on. And, I think there's something there. It's cool.
Okay. Thane, move on. That's a group called Ghost Soul Trio, and its song is called Pantherland.
Zach, you want to go first?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I really like some ideas in it, and I think, you know, especially the Another Day part was cool, and it definitely kind of caught me for a sec, and his voice was cool, but I also found myself getting a little lost in the song. Like, I guess I was just a little struggling sometimes to know. I didn't know when I was in the chorus and when I was in the verse, and but like I said, I like certain ideas in it for sure.
The whole thing's a hook, Zach.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I mean, like, immediately got the, you know, Kevin Parker inspired production, Tame Impala vibes in general, but also like that sort of like the lyrics almost felt like the vocal delivery and the lyrics, maybe to your point, Zach, kind of felt like an afterthought, and were sort of just kind of put on top of like a very thought out track. And I don't mean that in an offensive way. I mean it more in the sense of like, if there was maybe some more intention that came out in the recording of the vocal, I think it would have stepped up the track a bit more. But overall, like, and I'm also a big Gorillaz fan, was just listening to Demon Days a ton. So it's like, in that sense, I'm almost like sometimes just having a kind of trancy lyric and vocal over the thing is what the song needs. And I think Gorillaz do that really great, are a good example of that. But at the same time, it's like, for me, as somebody who loves a great voice singing great songs, I don't think that was like a great song, but I think there's a voice that has potential in there.
The Gorillaz reference is a great point.
Let's roll forward. Okay, so you know who that is now?
No, that was Lizard McGuire by Wyoming.
I like that, Lizard McGuire. I mean, it's not my, it doesn't feel like a commercial band. It feels like a cool band. Like, I got like, I think about the like Manchester sound and bands like Stone Roses and stuff that was like a little bit like noisier and a little trippier. And as just a fan of that kind of music, I really enjoyed that. I don't know, it doesn't really have a lane in commercial music, in my opinion, but I don't think it needs to. I think it's the kind of thing that goes off great in a club or festival environment, and you know, go one fan at a time that way.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, I'd love to see a show. I think that's the kind of thing that I'd be curious. I thought the song was pretty cool. I'd love to hear, see what would happen as that band digs in more and more on songs, and maybe, you know, maybe then they kind of develop a little bit more of a lane in the recorded format. But in the meantime, just like be on the road and build up the fan base. And yeah, that's.
Yeah, a band I work with called Rainbow Kitten Surprise was that way, where it's like they, you know, not really like any like hit songs necessarily in their catalog, but the performance is so incredible. If you've seen a Rainbow Kitten Surprise show, like you'll never forget it. So if this band has that, then they don't, you know, you don't really need a hit to get people to come out to your show. So, you know, people will talk.
Yeah, very true.
Okay, Thane, you know the
Although
routine.
Cocaine Jesus is really catchy.
It is.
Okay, that was All My Fault by Something Else.
That was probably my favorite thing. Not trying to pick favorites, but I'm such a huge Third Eye Blind fan and 1975 fan, and that band was like the perfect blend of those two things to me. And hopefully they don't find that offensive, even though I feel like they probably will. I mean that as like a massive compliment. If you're anything like those bands, you'll probably find that as disparaging, but I mean that in the most sincere way possible. What was the band's name again?
Something Else.
Something Else. Dope.
Really like the really cool concept. The song concept was cool, and I love the voice. Yeah, I'm really into that.
What was the name of the song again?
All My Fault.
All My Fault. So dope.
Yeah. The lyrics were really thoughtful and reflective, but also not like too meandering, like just the right amounts of you know, it's like cool thoughtfulness and kind of like quirkiness to it, but also like really honed in and like catchy and cool. Yeah.
Stands out, current, has its influences there, but it's its own thing. I really don't have any notes for that one. It was great.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, move on.
There's a whisper in my ear saying I'm the only one I need to fear. There's a future cold and clear. He'd There's no bounds or consequence, compelled to no amends. There's a liquid smoke coming up, where a house burns down. His body's whole life is pouring out to the wind. In the tireless fight to be heard and adored, rages on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Please hold on to me. No, don't let me go. I need some minimal comfort for my own fear. A soothing voice and a touch that feels sincere. So you do what you want, nobody cares. It's the end of the world. And I say that, please hold on to me. No, don't let me go.
That was really cool. Zach, did you want to go?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I thought that I really felt the kind of charisma of the singer, which is cool. I feel like I can envision her just having kind of an infectious thing live. I thought it was cool. I wasn't like obsessed with this song, but I liked it. I liked the sound and I liked her voice. Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of, for some reason, it didn't feel like the two things, the production and the singer, really melded. I kind of liked them separately for, like, I guess the reasons you stated. And there were moments with the like heavy production and really cool stuff going on that I just really liked. It was like almost like there were kind of two stars of the show, and they were sort of both wanting attention at the same time. And I just didn't, again, I think arrangement is really important with stuff like this. To pick your moments, and I don't think that moments were picked wisely on this, but there definitely is the opportunity for that in there.
That group is Southern, and it was called Preacher. And I have to comment that the singer also plays that mean guitar.
Nice.
Yeah,
oh, that's cool.
I dig it.
Yeah, I bet it's a cool show. You could feel that.
What's interesting is that many of these tracks you're listening to are self-produced. And I'm fine. I'm listening to music I haven't heard before, and these are paths for me to reach back down and walk down to speak with more of these artists. But I'm impressed.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of music here. You should have heard the other 70, but we'll spare you that. Okay, let's move ahead, Thane. Roll it.
dreams, I'm loving you all night. I said I love you, hope you love me too. You're heaven sent and I consent to you making some moves. What I mean, no disrespect, but I'm at your door and I got the fire, better come correct.
we lost Bruce again, but that was Come Correct by Zoo Trippin'.
It's cool. I appreciate the ability to really. I mean, the song crafting was cool. You could tell that there's some very musical people in the group writing, and I was impressed by the different layers to the song.
Yeah, and I liked the sort of, there's a band like that on our roster called Fever 333 that has this sort of like high energy, like Rage Against the Machine type vocal delivery. But, the thing that I thought it was cool to sort of like include like more brass. There was definitely like a trumpet or a trombone happening in there that I thought was super cool. And it was one of those things again where it was like I don't think I've heard something exactly like that, so I don't really know what else to compare it to other than the bands I just mentioned. But the vibe sticks with me. But so far, like lyrics, like I don't really remember anything besides that like Come Correct lyric, and I don't really know why I need to come correct. I've forgotten by now, but otherwise I enjoyed the vibe.
That group is Zoo Trippin'.
Zoo Trippin'.
And you do have the title correct. We're almost there.
Boss pissed me off with the job. Oh, trying to make this music work these days. I've been working 40 hours. Oh, I don't see myself being here too long. Honestly, I'm just trying to get home to you. I only feel home when you around. Honestly, I just want you around. You around, no, you around. It's 4 a.m. Nothing good happens after midnight. When my mom used to tell me, and I hope you ain't playing. You hit my phone and I'm right on the way when you tell me. Make me feel, make me feel. Yeah. Make me feel, make me feel. Yeah. Mama said, don't go get your ass no player. Couldn't agree anymore. I've changed my ways. I'm so different these days. You're calling me on a late night tip. Gotta show you what this is, hey. Show you what this is, hey. And it's 4 a.m. Nothing good happens after midnight. When my mom used to tell me, and I hope you ain't playing. You hit my phone and I'm right on the way when you tell me. Make me feel, make me feel.
I really dig that.
That was dope.
Yeah, I was like, had kind of like the cool, uplifting quirkiness of like a Chance the Rapper kind of vibe. It's that better,
100%.
Yeah, but a better singer. I kept thinking like Chance the Rapper, like rapping over like Good Kid, Mad City beats. Like that was really cool.
That was Elijah Banks, and I'm sure you got the title 4 a.m.
Yeah.
I felt like we were back in church.
Elijah Banks.
Yep.
Sick.
Yeah, I mean, I think that goes back to the Chance the Rapper vibes a bit, but then also there's like a classiness to it of like a Leon Bridges a bit, like where it feels a little bit like an old soul, but a really good writer. And I don't know if he produced it too, but I thought it was very understated, but in like a really cool way that allowed like, that was a good example to me of picking your moments to let certain things shine. And
yes, it felt like a thing, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, it felt like there was a lot of thought that went into all of it, and I felt and appreciated that.
And I agree with you. It's funny you mentioned like Leon Bridges, because I was also thinking that. I was like thinking about Chance the Rapper, but I was like, but there's also a little bit of like a little bit more of a throwback. Like he's got a little bit of blues in his voice, which is cool. It kind of separates a little bit. You know, maybe you can make the Anderson .Paak reference. I mean, there's a few ways you can go. It's really cool. Yeah, it's good.
Oh yeah.
The big.
Dancing on a graveyard, shut you down. Tried to escape, I'm wanted now. I had to, cause you know that I'm cold, I'm not one to keep an enemy, staying with you, be the death of me. Pop, 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 cause you know that I'm cold. Let me take a minute and fill you in. It's not the life I chose, the one I live. You said a locomotion can't show any emotion. I only serve what is deserved. Well, now that you know, just know that it's me. I gotta go get it, no hold on my sleeve. My patience on me. No mystery. In the smother I wrote 6 feet deep, cause you know that I'm cold. Dancing on a graveyard, shut you down. Tried to escape, I'm wanted now. I had to, cause you know that I'm cold, I'm not one to keep an enemy, staying with you, be the death of me. Pop, 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 cause you know that I'm cold. Cause I alone can't take no more. I leave it to the finger. Bless your heart, you gave your all. Now you got me triggered. I alone can't take no more. I leave it to the finger. Bless your heart, you gave your all. But now you got me triggered. Dancing on a graveyard, shut you down.
That was Kiana, and the song is called Cold.
The overall, like I love stuff like that. Like I was listening to Ella Eyer, I never know how to say the last name, but where it's got a really cool, like forward-leaning production, but paired with a vocal like that, where I just don't know that the vocal was, I don't know that any part of it was like recorded as well as it could have been, but at the same time, I kind of like the grittiness that's there. And I feel like sometimes you can make like a mixed choice like Prince did with a lot of his records to kind of leave it a little bit gritty and a little bit messy, and it really contributes to the song. But I don't think that it really, I don't think that it helped this song in that same way. I think that's a little bit of polishing with this one would help it to, you know, I keep saying take another step forward, but, you know, I think doing what we do as A&R people, I think it's just talking about like, you know, how far can you take it? And sometimes you go and you try it out and you're like, you know what, it was better the time that it was before, but sometimes you're surprised, you know? So I think that's my thought on the song. What about you, Zach?
My thoughts more just like on the artist is that I think she did a really good job of kind of like bringing me into the song. You know, when it started out, I don't know, just like the voice and maybe, you know, if she wrote the song as well, she kind of like, I don't know, she just led me in and pulled me in well, and I kind of got into it. And seems like, you know, you're drawing from some more, you know, organic, I guess is, you know, the annoying word that I can use, influences, but you also can hit like, you know, more like modern R&B stuff. And it felt like kind of in between those two things. And so you kind of get to choose which way you want to go, you know, which is cool. Nice dog, Chris.
Okay, just 2 more to go.
Thanks. He really wanted to make an
Dog
appearance.
is adorable. He's really great.
has like a classic feel. Let's all critique Chris's dog.
Bang, roll it, please.
Very RCA.
Give you all of my I wanna go wherever you wanna go. I've been ready for some time. Take on the world together. You don't need nobody else when I'm on your side. I give you all of my loving. You give me all of your worries. I give you all my love. You give me all your worries. I give you all my love. You give me all your worries. Give you all my love. Hold me close, don't let these feelings knock me off of my feet. Give me all of your worries. You'll be better, baby, knowing you is my reality. I wanna be wherever you wanna be. I've been waiting my whole life. Conquer what's wrong together. I don't need nobody else when you're on my side. I give you all of my loving. You give me all of your worries. I give you all my love. You give me all your worries. I give you all my love. You give me all your worries.
Okay, that was Team by Madison. Madison.
Yeah, that song feels like it was like left off of the Drive soundtrack. Like it had a really cool like 80s vibe to it. I don't think that there was necessarily like a particular moment where I was like, wow, this really blows me away, but it's something that, you know, I feel like would be the perfect pairing to like the right visual on either on a movie or soundtrack, something like that. It feels very primed for that.
And I do
Maybe it'll be on the next Stranger Things.
That'd be sick. Yeah, I do think that if you're into that specific combination of, because it's funny because I get like this cool like Drive 80s production, but also like the
King
like
Princess
song,
maybe
the
a little
song
bit.
arrangement and stuff is more like more like 90s R&B pop, you know, which is kind of, or even early 2000s, which is, I don't know, it's kind of an interesting mix, you know, like I got some like Her vibes from your voice, you know, and Her kind of draws back to that era too, but the production's totally different. So it could be kind of an interesting thing if you keep trying to like hone in on that mix eras and sounds. But I like some of the vocal runs that you did, so I can tell she's a great singer.
Yeah. The style that goes around comes around. All right, here we are for our last one, gentlemen.
Oh, weaver, raised me right, made me a blanket and they wrapped my dog up tight. When he died, took my piece of you that I had, except the picture on my desk of you playing your guitar, singing all your songs. your stories of West Virginia and your sons and your daughters and headed north. Path you walk, it still leads me home. Oh, Eva, oh, Eva, and your kids, they are doing fine. What happened to Jane? I used to see her all the time. And your house is where you left it still. The shell of the rooms sit empty on the hill. And I'm still playing your guitar, singing all your songs.
That was Eva by Whitley.
In my opinion, it was a really cool song that felt like it was going somewhere, and I feel like I would have loved like a second part of the chorus. But also maybe it did get to a second part of the chorus because I know we didn't listen through 2 choruses. And I know we're all working with like different production, situations, but like right after that first chorus, would have liked to feel it like kind of pick up a little bit more production side. But I thought it was a cool song, and thought she has a really compelling voice, and yeah, it was descriptive and it brought me in. Yeah, overall I thought it was cool.
Yeah, and I mean, songs like that don't really go out of style either. Like, love the very simple production and the focus on lyricism. But I think sometimes, especially in that, it's like you really have nothing to hide behind besides like really digging into what you're saying in that moment. And nothing really completely stuck with me. And maybe that's your point, Zach, is maybe another moment would have helped drive it home a bit more. But it was super enjoyable. And it's like something easy listening on a Sunday morning type thing,
Well, I want to thank you both for spending your time with us and your input. It's been really, a nice way to start our Music Business Monday virtual series off. So,
Man,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying I'm glad that you guys are doing this, and I sort of mentioned this in a story I posted on Instagram from reposting somebody else who had posted on there. But I just love your guys' scene. I think Columbus does a really great job of like not only supporting each other, but I think really pushing each other to be creative, and it shows, I think, with the amount of talent that comes out of that place. And I think that it's great to have something like this exist. And I think places like Nashville and other places need to take your guys' example with it. Plus, having a place like North Market in Nashville wouldn't be too bad either.
Well, you guys have brought me back to my own days as an A&R man, which I miss. And you're kind of
is it all the plaques on my wall?
Hey, when you're my age and you spend a lot of time doing this, it's the fruits of battle. But
yeah, it's awesome, man.
I had so much fun going through and sequencing this and editing them and taking into consideration the panel that put these together. So again, I thank you guys very much. If there's other artists that you want to hear, more from, let me know, please.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I really appreciate it. It's the talent pool in Columbus seems to be amazing, and I'd love, hopefully once this is all over, I can come up in person and see some live music, and because I've heard the live music scene's amazing.
We were just voted by Vivid Ticketing the Festival City of 2020. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
it was bad timing
Yeah, unfortunately, man, I can't wait. I really, I hope this brings concerts back stronger than ever. Like, I think it used to be that you would go to a concert because you're like, oh, I might not get the chance to see them again on a reunion show or whatever. But now knowing that the possibility exists that you could just not be able to go to a show at all for like a year, I think hopefully will push people to go and see something, and hopefully something like this doesn't happen again, but the odds are that it will, just because that's the way the world works.
Well,
Sure.
Anyway, thanks again, guys. We're going to close it out now. I really appreciate it. You were
Yeah,
great.
of
Thank you.
course.
Thank you, everyone.
Bruce.
Thanks for-
Thank you,
Thanks, everyone.
Zane.
Thanks everyone who attended.